Okay, hello everybody. Happy Thursday evening. It's chaotic. I feel absolutely chaotic and I have no idea what's happening. And I'm here though. I'm here. I made it. Hello. I hope you're well. We're almost through the week and yeah. So tell me, how is everybody? I still have this painting that I've been working on only on live streams, nowhere else, or not at any other time. I haven't touched it since the last stream. And I'm going to keep working on mostly filling out all the mixed media area, get this going. Hello, Mary Beth. How are you today? Yeah, the watercolor part is finally getting to a point where it works for me a little bit. So I will soften the edge here and add more things, add more layers, and hopefully come out with something pretty okay in the end. I also just burned myself about 5 minutes before I came here to start this because I'm like hurrying up, trying to make dinner so it's ready for when I'm done cooking and overwhelmed, and I burned myself. But little neat trick that I've learned, that if you burn yourself, instead of running your hand under cold water, just like find some soft tissue on your body. Like for me, that's a little bit in my belly, and just like put your burn there, hold it against it really tight for a while, and it somehow weirdly creates this, like, it brings your burn to body temperature in a very like safer way than trying to run it under cold water, which just seems to exacerbate it, even though it feels good at the moment. But yeah, that's my trick, and lo and behold, I think it's gonna be fine. Also, it's on my left hand, so yay. I'm with you on being tired this evening. I'm definitely with you there. It's been a weird week. Very strange week, all in all. I have my watercolors out here, but I think I'm going to put them away, actually, because I can grab them. They're nearby, but I don't think that they're what I'm going to be primarily using. So let's see. I have it in my mind to do a little bit of like inking on this guy once I get a few more layers on here. Yeah, that burn thing. I literally burned myself like Sunday. Also did the exact same thing. It's like not thinking, not paying attention close enough, and I'm just realizing I have complete hat hair because I also just got, right before I was cooking, I was running errands and I had a hat on, and like I said, just pure chaos today. But I'm going to get into doing some creative work, and that will bring everything to a nice, hopefully chill point. So let me see. And really the only thing I did put much thought into was doing the that bit of inking. Everything else is going to be just screwing around and feeling through the process of creating stuff and see what I like, what sticks, what doesn't. I'm thinking of using some torn magazine, just print. Interestingly enough, this was an article about feminism from many-year-old Cosmo magazine that I order old magazines from resellers because they work really great for this sort of work. I found some real gold in the Cosmo type magazines, and man, I wish I could get my hands on some from the 90s, because I think that's, I mean, I remember those days. There's got to be some meaty stuff in there to work with, some absolutely ridiculously bad, aged horribly types of articles. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And maybe I'll go crazy and actually use a brush for my adhesive today, because I still haven't replaced the paper towels in my studio for no good reason. I still have my Ready studio towel, which I really need to make sure I throw in the laundry after today. So pick out a kind of crummy brush. That'll do. And see if I can find a tiny little plastic. Tiny little plastic palette that I can put some of the adhesive in. Normally I just throw my hands in there and I'm fine with it. It feels awful, but I'm going to try to be neat today. I've had plenty of very good messes thus far this week already. Having been at the studio I work at, where I teach some classes for kids, and dropped the brush. Did not take long for that first drop, 5 minutes in. All right, here we go. Yes, some of them are working with ink, which is a lot of fun and interesting, but that stuff, it dyes your skin a little bit, whereas the paint, the acrylic paint, that washes off pretty good. So yeah, I've had some very colorful hands most of the week, and I'm feeling a little like they've had enough. My skin is a wreck, my nails are a wreck. I mean, they usually are, so whatever to that, but just to give them a little break, a little bit of a break. And I have such a crazy mess of wires right now coming over here because I've been like trying to tweak my setup. So I put a camera here instead of sort of behind me on my computer desk, which is the built-in camera on my computer that I was using. And it's definitely a little better because I don't have to like keep turning around to see what's happening and with the chatting and to check that my stream is still live and everything. Because I have the camera here and my iPad here, so I can keep track of things. But that means like I have wires hanging all over the place. And I'm now hearing, I think my cat is behind my computer on my desk fishing for pencils out of my pencil holder. Yeah, I see that nose. He likes to make an appearance, and he is adorable, so it's fine. Last few times he didn't show up till like near the end of the stream. He must have just gotten bored enough to be like, hey, what are you doing in there? Come out and pay attention to me. But yeah, that's my cat. Always trouble. So I'm just sort of building up some layers of the paper, and it doesn't look probably like a ton right now because I'm kind of like, it's sort of like putting white over white, but the idea to get it to be more of a texture than just the white of the paper. Can still put anything I want over it, and I will, of course, because you know, that's how I roll. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm doing it like this. If you've seen any of my past work, not stuff. There's Watson saying hi. Not the stuff that I've done on YouTube, but paintings that I've done for just myself, for like my own body of work. I've done this as a backdrop for some pieces that turned out, that I was really happy with how they turned out, where I used deliberate choices of articles and all the text to create an almost white just texture around. I had a heart, a brain, and a uterus. That's a very small series, but worked very well. I can let some things kind of hang off the paper a little bit, because then when I'm done, when this is all finished and I take it off the watercolor block, I'll just trim the edge with a little X-Acto blade. get all cleaned up. Well, this is actually controlling the air bubbles in the paper a little bit better than when I do it by hand. Go figure. I should do this more often. Always learning things, always trying things. Okay, let's see. Where else do I want them? In case you can't tell from anything I've ever done, I'm not a big fan of the white of the page. I think that absolutely can be a very effective thing. Negative space and such. But I tend to work in a little bit of a maximalist way, I suppose I'd say. That's probably, yep, that's definitely would describe the paintings I've been making for the last 2 years. Alright, almost through what I have of this. Let's see where else I want anything. This is a nice vacation for the skin of my hands. Who'd have thought? So this would make with a little bit of a lighter color, maybe brushed, scraped along it. It will work well for looking on top of. I'll have to play around to see what my best implement is for that, because I have some like ballpoint type pens over here right now, which can be really fun to work with for inking as well, but I'm not sure how well that will work over it. I have some felt tipped like microns, which I don't seem to have in front of me at the moment. They should be somewhere. So I had all my stuff packed up for this last weekend, art weekend away from home, and it was great. And then I got home and I unpacked some things, and I remember thinking, this makes more sense than how I had it before. Who knows where right now? Who knows? Organization is a lie. It's impossible, at least for me. Me and my chaotic artist brain. I do try. I've legit been attempting to clean up my workspace after every time that I do a stream to try to keep things manageable and in order, because I mean, just the technology stuff for this alone, having paintings everywhere, all the things like in a limited amount of space, it's just, it gets overwhelming, and when I'm overwhelmed, I become much less productive and I make mistakes. So trying to be good about putting that effort into keeping things manageable. All right, what else have we got for random bits of color and texture? Maybe that would be an alright little corner piece. Yeah, a little callback to some of the shades of green that are going in there, that works. I know it can look incredibly arbitrary, and there are moments of things that are, but I do kind of have at least some element of forethought into why I choose what I choose and putting it where I put it. Or I'm lying to you and I'm really just full of it. Take your pick. All right, what else can I use? Oh, I had a few things put aside for this piece that I definitely wanted to use. Now, where did I put those? Huh. Someplace? Any place? Oh my goodness. And here I thought I was in good shape for this. Well, here's one that I was thinking about including. Trouble-free. I just really like that. I like that it's so opposite of the feeling that I'm painting, in which case I might just do something like that. Let me tear this edge. Yeah, I also really love the dots as the element on here. This is another one from, oh, I'm not sure if this is from an old 50s Life magazine or possibly a Woman's World 50s magazine that I have a couple of. I need more glue. Still due for a trip to the art supply store. I need to get more glue, more brush, soap. All the things. Paints. I'm running really low on paints. I have, where did I have it? Here. I have this stack of paint tubes that are almost out, or are out, and I'm like, okay, hold on to these so I remember what I need. And they've been sitting in a stack waiting to be replaced for a little while now. I always just put it like, I always put it off for some reason. When the grocery store is only 2 blocks away from your house, but the art supply store is like 10 miles or something. It's easy to be fine with just picking up the groceries and letting the other stuff go for another week. Okay, so we are coming along. I like that. I like it, I like it. Now, if I could only find where I had that little cowgirl that I was showing in the last video. A little tiny bit of paper. And unfortunately, with it being very tiny, I've probably misplaced it. Oh! I put my paints on top of it. I found it. Yeah, okay, here she is. I hope you can see that. Right. There's a little bit of a lag between what I say and do and what you guys see on the stream. It's about, I think, 7 or 8 seconds at this moment. So if you ever wonder why I don't seem to make sense with something or don't respond to something in a timely fashion, that's generally why. That, and remembering to look at the chat and stuff. All right, now where to put her? I mean, she could just go in the corner. That would be okay. I think that might be my best bet at the moment. Based on what's happening, I kind of think it'd be easy for her to stay. Like, she's kind of away from everything. A little bit of like an afterthought kind of an approach of where she is and why she's there. But yet, it's like a little surprise. You maybe don't notice at first. But she's so perfect. All right, there, we did that. Those were the main things that I put aside as like for sure uses. Now this is something that is much more random in choice, just to introduce shape and color. Stick, darn you. Okay. Now, bits of some rice paper that I'd toned for some other project quite some time ago. So I might pull some of that in here, maybe over here. Start break up that edge a little bit. Maybe. I don't know if that's the thing. No. I don't want something that harsh on that line. Okay. That maybe not immediately. Doesn't have to be. Just things that are available to me to choose to work with or not. Here's another interesting one. I think I cut this for the back piece where it's a face, but this is clearly an ad for some eyeshadow. I would make the assumption that was eyeshadow based on the colors. But they're like weird little star shapes. And just for how dumb, obnoxious, and like kind of girly that is, I like it. I'll just come in here, keep filling in these things. You may or may not catch on that I'm definitely, like, my work, almost most of my paintings have a bit of a feminist bend to them, in the sense that, well, I'm talking about things through the lens of my own experiences and the things that make me frustrated and angry, which is plenty of things. Things that I feel and perceive to be infringements on equality and fairness and just accessibility, rights, as we may have it. So that's always a little bit there. Almost always. Occasionally I do random things for the sake of it, but that is definitely reoccurring themes that kind of envelope a little bit of everything. Like the last piece I did on stream, the David Bowie portrait, is less forward about that kind of thing. The reason I'd started that was I was asked to do a live demonstration at an art fair. And I chose doing a couple of portraits because the portraits are something that I'm comfortable doing. And I wanted to do figures that were people that interested me, but I thought would have a bit of at least a little bit of a broader appeal. So I had chosen David Bowie as one subject, and the other one was Edgar Allan Poe, and that one I'd finished some time ago. And yeah, so those were not chosen for any particular reason outside of they felt like something that would be a good subject matter to do as live demos. And I enjoyed doing the live demos. I'm not going back to doing that art fair again. They did ask me back. But here's the thing. A lot of my work has some nudity in it. Not in any kind of obscene manner, just this is a body. And this is just a very raw way to portray people in an emotive state. And I'd checked with them before I did my tent last time. I'm like, okay, I have some works along this line. I sent them images. I'm like, is this a problem to show? And they're like, they told me that it would be okay. They thought it would be fine as long as those works were within the tent, not like facing out, which I don't think I had anything really facing out. But they had some complaints, so they still wanted me to come back and just not like have that kind of work there, but that's like, you know, that is my work, a lot of it. So I just, it's not the right fit. Plain and simple. I tried the thing. Definitely gave it a good attempt, but live community art fairs are probably just not the right fit for my work, and that's okay. Not everything is going to be, not everything has to be. And I'm fine with it. I tried a thing. It's the only way you will learn. The only way we learn is by doing. Or at least it's a very good way to learn. I guess it's not technically the only way. I accept that. All right. So I haven't gotten much like reading done recently. I've been trying to get better about reading all of my unfinished books and getting back into getting some of that someplace. I have so many books that are genuinely good and interesting books, and then I just put them down halfway through and forget that I have them and that I was reading them. It just gone out of my head. So since I spent last weekend primarily just, you know, having a awesome art time, which is never a bad thing, it is the thing, it is the best thing. Yeah, I haven't done much reading, so I don't really have anything like that to mention. Although I did catch a random preview. This relates. Some Amazon original show. And I'm watching the preview and I'm like, I think this might be something that I know. And one of the very, 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 very few fictional books that I've actually finished in the last 5 years was a book called The Power. And as I'm sitting here, I completely blanking on who the author is, but I really enjoyed that book. It was like stressful read, like upsettingly kind of like okay, I haven't read The Handmaid's Tale or watched it. Everybody says I should, but I don't think that I can handle it. Like my anxiety, you know what I mean? I hope maybe you don't, I don't know. But this book, I could handle it, but it still like gave you that kind of like stressed anxiety. But they're making a show out of it. It's called The Power. And I think I'm going to try to see it when it comes out. I have a long list of like things I want to watch. Shows are the hardest thing. Like, get me to sit down and watch a show. That's just too much commitment. My time. Too much pressure. Asking a lot of me. Just brayering down a little bit. Anything that might have some maybe wrinkles or air bubbles a bit. It's pretty good. Not bad. Using a lot of the glue or acrylic paint will have the same effect on this paper as using watercolor on watercolor paper, where it will get wavy under the moisture and the weight of the moisture. So I'm seeing some of that happening over here where I've laid down a lot of stuff, and a little bit here. So I can maybe focus on some other areas a little bit. Let that dry. I do kind of like what's starting to happen. This here needs stuff. Needs some stuff. What do we got? What can I find that I like? I could use more text. Potentially. I can definitely cut more stuff like that out. Oh, there's an article on conspiracy theorists. Hey. Oh, and there's my cat. You saying hi, baby cat? You here to say hi? He's just hanging out with us for a minute. You're bored, aren't you? You want to help? I have had to wash paint off of him before. That has been a thing. He's right now chewing on the back of my brush. You see him? You see the camera? Say hi to everybody. What would I do without a studio cat? Okay. Let me think. I was going to try to avoid like digging through my piles of stuff too much today while I was alive, but that in my water. This is my bin of random little bits. I have a huge bin of large bits, and then another small bin where I've cut out words. It's specifically like text bits that I really like. I know what this is. Was a cartoon from an old Playboy magazine. And the tagline, "Didn't mommy and daddy tell you the other children would play with you if you wore your Halloween costumes?" Because they were family monsters, I guess. I wonder... I mean, the idea that you need to, like, fit in to be accepted is an interesting little subtle nod that I could bury in there. I don't mind that. Where do you think you're going? Where are you going? Oh, here's another part of that. The monster with his little girl face. I just really like the colors and the line work. I've torn it up and used little bits that are mostly unrecognizable and some other things. But anyway, okay, I'm looking for something that is not super high contrast, something a little lighter that I can start to pull in the area over here. Okay. And my cat is he just owns the place. Never mind him. That's kind of a fun one too. Random, old school, random boy. Yeah, sometimes I just cut out things that are really great when I'm going through magazines. I don't necessarily know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I just really like it and know that it will be very good to use in the future. So there's a lot of that kind of thing in here. So some of it's just purely junk bits, but there's definitely gold waiting to find its place in the world. Okay, maybe some more stuff, some stamps. That came from a random ephemera package. Cat, your butt is in the way. There you go. Goofy butt. He's trying to sharpen his nails on my chair. Oh my goodness. Okay. I have enough to work with yet. I can break out some paint here too. And I definitely will, I think, need to. Another ad. I don't know, or maybe it's from that same cartoon. I don't know. Some of the stuff's been in here a while, and I don't remember things anyway. Sometimes I just like the way that text becomes a texture, like some random bits of graphic design, some accounting numbers. Okay, I think I officially have enough stuff to make some calls. I'd like it if I don't think I have anything that kind of borderlines on translucent. That's what I'm sort of thinking there, but maybe that's where I just need to use a light application of paint. On here, maybe that wasn't that straight to begin with, of course. Okay, you can't see him on the chair, but my cat is sitting on the chair with me, and I swear to you, he's trying to be like pushing me off. Like, I need more room, move it. Cracks me up. Ooh, got some smears. I like that. Okay. It's definitely chaos. Let's see. Let me see. All right. Did I move this? I feel like you might not have been able to see anything I did in that corner up there. Hopefully that's better. There we go. Okay. I think I'm actually going to pull in some. Find it. Looking for white paint, I guess. I have some, this is kind of a soft bodied big thing. I got this because we were short on white paint at the studio, so I just picked this up because it was pretty cheap. So I'm not sure that that's what I want to use for this, because I want something like scrapable. I'd like a heavier body. Where is my white paint? You know, it's probably in my pile of things to be replaced. That is a very good chance of that. Maybe I do have some very super heavy gesso. Maybe I'll just use that. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Got my favorite palette knife. It's a number 10 from Atrium. I've had this for a long time. You can tell it's been through a lot. I'm sure there's some way that I could probably clean it up better. I don't actually know. I've never really looked into it, but it does a job. So I just continue with it as it is. So this stuff is really, oh, it's heavy and thick. It's like spackle. It's great. I love it. Love it. Okay. Start laying some about. Ugh, this stuff is the best. Starting to get up to my face here, and then that kind of incorporates her a little bit more into the piece, so she's not as much just floating in space that's going to cave in on her. It does have a bit of a claustrophobic quality at the moment. Primarily because of the way that I've cropped her in the picture, and along with the way that I've added in the elements encroaching upon her face and otherwise. Bring it in over here too. maybe I'll pull that, make a through line, which will have an interesting effect of placing her in space. Oh, that cat hair. That's my own fault. There's a movie that I saw recently, very recently. It was on Comet. The Fourth Floor, 90s film, I believe, with Juliette Lewis. And when I saw her, I'm like, oh my God, she was such a huge thing back then. Whatever happened to her? She is alive, apparently. I don't know what she's done recently. I guess I could have looked. But yeah, she still exists. Who knew? And the funny thing, I called the twist. Like at the very last second of the movie, you get the twist. And that's what I thought the end outcome was going to be, the reveal of who's the baddie. And then when that didn't happen, I was surprised. But it turns out it did happen after all. So that was kind of funny. I probably just watched too many movies like that. I'm onto them. I knew their pattern. Is it still in focus? Well, let me check here. That seems a little better. Okay. One more pull in on her face using my knife here. So I have this cutting board. Sounds so arbitrary. It's not, I promise. I have a cutting board. I bought it at a resale shop ages ago. And it's like a huge, like not 3 inches, it's like 2 inches thick. Very big, very, very heavy. So whoever originally had it probably spent a good deal amount of money on it. But I got it used, didn't pay a lot for it. And when I got it home, like, I had that realization of why it had been donated. It had a crack in it. So it's not, and that didn't appear until like I washed it. Then you could, like, with the moisture of the water, you could see where that crack was. So I have this huge, huge cutting board that isn't appropriate for use for food. So I had it set to the side, like, one of these days I'm gonna take this out to the trash bin. Then it just occurred to me, like in the last few days, I could just gesso that thing and paint on it. It's make a great painting surface. So the procrastinator in me that didn't get it thrown away for a very long time, turns out she's kind of brilliant. I have to try that for something soon. It's very heavy. It is very heavy, so it will be interesting, but yeah, why waste it? It shouldn't be tossed. Like, I hate tossing things. If I, always feels like such a waste if I can help it. But there's always limits on what's reasonable to try to save or maintain. Okay. Think about this tagline from this cartoon. I'm going to cut it out and consider and think on it a little bit. It's just so weird and kind of random. And yet fits. It's very long though. I'm having this thought of maybe cutting it in half and stacking it. Something like that, although I don't know if that's where I want it, but maybe near or by the laughing face. To that end. Let's go with it. Let's do it. Why not? It's funny, some things it's like you feel very much like, hey, why not? Let's just try. And then there's other things where it's like, yeah, no, this definitely, I know this doesn't work, it won't work, and I'm not doing it. Just gotta trust the process and the little voices in your head. Picking up some of that gesso while I'm doing this, and kind of like letting that be a thing, be a little textural thing. It sort of starts to fade away. All right. Yeah, making it happen, getting someplace a little bit. Okay. Somehow, as I'm working on this, I keep like pushing it over so the frame I'm in starts to overlap the corner. I don't mean to do that. Try to keep check of it. All right. Is there anything else to glue on at this point? I might put him in there. Let me see. I'm gonna want to trim him to kind of match the chin. See how well that curve works. Yeah, let's do it. So good, good thing I put my brush right back in the water right at that moment. Okay, we are on to something. There it is. Okay. Oh, I did post it on, I have it on here at the bottom of the page, the bottom of the screen, but I'm going to swap the days that I do the morning and evening. So on Mondays, I'm going to do the evening hours, and Tuesdays, I put Tuesdays, it's Thursdays. Oh, Lordy. I'm, okay, that's my brain being my worst nightmare. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Not Tuesdays. Not Tuesdays. Oh my God. How did I not even see that? Oh Lordy, my brain. Okay. Yeah, no, not Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Thursdays at 10 a.m. Wow, my brain just exploded on itself for a second. Yeah. That's totally wrong. Oh my goodness. So it's going to be Monday evenings instead of Monday mornings and Thursday evenings, what I've been doing. It's going to be Monday evenings, Thursday mornings. I think that will work better. It works a little bit better for me, for my schedule, because there are some things that happen on Thursday nights that would interfere otherwise. But I think that just for most people, you're there's a greater chance of having plans on Thursday nights than Monday nights. And, oh my God, I feel like my brain isn't even connected to my face today. Yes, and Thursday mornings, like I'm realizing that coming in on Monday morning and just getting right to it is goes a little less smoothly for me than I would like in terms of optimum functioning. Oh my goodness. Wow. Sometimes I impress myself with how I mess things up. It is what it is. Got some paint markers. We can hang out with some paint markers for a minute. These are not the best paint markers. I've had these for a while. Edding, acrylic. They don't flow real nice and it takes a bit to get them going. Okay, let's see here. How are we doing? Not quite dry enough to start putting ink down. Once my gesso is a little more set, I can start doing some of that. Let's see. What else might we pull in here? Cat hairs. It's just part of the whole thing. It's just bound to happen. I just drew some teeth on there. I've had this little bit of a fixation of the look of teeth And I imagine maybe some of that stems from my own constant jaw clenching lately that I've been trying to just not do. I like to keep my teeth around as long as possible, but I am my own worst enemy when it comes to all of these things. I have been doing a lot of like clenching my jaw and grinding teeth as of late, which is certainly an anxiety thing. But such as it is, what are you gonna do? Well, we are getting close to something here. Wish you guys could see my cat curled up next to me right now. It is just the sweetest thing. Even though his hair's all up in my painting. Mouth guard. Yeah, I should. I actually don't know if I do it that much at night. I'd mostly find myself doing that during the day. There have been times in my life where I know I was doing it at night and I would wake up and like feel it. But I find myself doing it these days throughout the day. And I just try to like correct myself when I catch myself doing it. But yeah, I probably should just get one anyway, just to be safe. That would be wise. With enough layers starting to overlap a bit, you lose the sheer disconnect of all these elements that are so like very different from each other in color and texture and everything. Just the layers start to become a mass of texture. Still have a little ways to go, but I'm starting to see it happen. Just starting to see it start to pull together. Still wet. Getting there. There's just little spots where I put it on real heavy. Let me see. Let me make sure this works before I even bother. Okay. Oh, it might work. Try not to smear everything that's still wet with my hand while I'm doing this, because that would only just, you know, figure to do that. Something that really stuck with me on the topic of like the image of teeth is with Francis Bacon's work when he did the portraits of Pope Innocent. I just really, what draws me into those very strongly is the teeth, the mouth, the scream. Maybe it's not a scream, but just a gap mouth and the teeth just have like that sunk into my brain and has sat with me. And in my head, I just like those pieces are just exist as teeth. And there's like, I love those paintings. They're some of my favorite works of his. And when I look at it now, you know, go back and look at it, it's not exactly what the picture in my head is not exactly accurate. They're not just teeth and nothing but teeth, but that's what like I've taken from them for whatever reason. You never know the things that will impact you and stay with you. But it's coming from someplace, so, you know, gotta acknowledge it and give it its due consideration. Yeah, my pen doesn't love drawing on top of the oil pastel, but we're doing it anyway. Okay. Keep sticking my hand in the wet paint. This little guy that I'm drawing, is this beetle. I don't know if I can even say this semi-correctly. Bombardier? Bombarder? He releases, when he's threatened, he releases chemicals that are basically like explosive together. And I kind of love that. Like, what an amazing natural defense from the animal kingdom. It amuses me to draw this because it's I mean, it's a beetle, it's not a spider, but I'm terrified. Like, I hate spiders. Oh man, not okay with them whatsoever. So it sort of amuses me that drawing this guy is no big deal, even though, like, especially seeing from a bit of a distance, it looks very spider-like. Whatever. Probably shouldn't. The legs, probably the way I position them. Maybe it's something in my head that had me do that. Making some very small and sort of delicate little drawings in ink. I am using a ballpoint. They make an interesting drawing utensil sometimes. I love my fine pointed microns, but there's something with the ballpoint pen where you can kind of get this variegation in the weight of your line a little bit by messing with how you place it out down. And sometimes that's kind of an interesting thing to mess around with. Anybody doing anything interesting for their weekend? I do believe it is the Super Bowl weekend. probably be doing some watercolor painting, at least on Saturday for sure. Okay. Maybe we'll pull some of those back a little bit. There's what I'm looking for. My trusty Poscas. They always work the way I want them to. Always, always. Kind of want it to fall back a little bit too, so he can be peeking out but not be like the center of attention. And this is my beige Posca, which plays a little bit nicely with the variations in color of the white from all the torn paper. Okay, so where do we go next? This line is annoying to me. This is too harsh. This probably should still have a little bit of something over here. But we're getting there. I glued some of this paper down. It's a very textured, it's sort of like the corrugated cardboard paper. I'm actually going to use this piece. I'm going to touch it into my gesso and use it to like lay down some pattern. My cat is ridiculous. Okay. He's attacking my arm right now. Are you having fun? Are you trying to eat my arm? Ooh, if anybody is a horror buff or fan, got my arm back, and has Shudder, or is considering getting Shudder, which is a streaming service that's basically horror movies. Friday night there's going to be a special from Joe Bob Briggs, and I don't know if anybody remembers from back in the day, was it the 80s into the definitely in the 90s, there was Monster Vision, was like a show he hosted, kind of like Elvira or Svengoolie style, hosted with movies. There was Monster Vision, and then there was the Drive-In, which was great. Did I just get paint on you? I don't think so. No, sorry, thought I just got paint on my cat. Yeah, anyway, on Shudder, he's been doing specials, but I love it because I used to try to stay up late when I was a teenager and watch his shows with the movies that he'd show, and my parents would always yell at me to go to bed because it was too late. But anytime I could sneak in and watch whatever day it was, I think it was like Friday nights or Sunday, I think it was Friday nights, I'd always try to watch it. So I have a lot of fond memories of the Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs as the host. So now he's doing that. Shudder has him do it. He has like a normal season where it's like 2 movies on Friday nights, and the one for this Friday is like a Valentine's Day episode. So 1 or 2 years ago he did The Love Witch And I started watching that one and I never finished it, but I need to go back and see that. What I remember of it was it looks, for all intents and purposes, like you're watching a late 70s or mid 70s satanic panic setup film. It looks very much like that, and then you realize pretty quickly that it's not, because the cars and things are some of them are modern, but the way it's filmed and everything, of course the main character and her style, wow, it was impressive. At least that's what I thought at the time. I do need to go back and like have another look. Okay. So oh, my cat is instigating your cat a little bit. Sorry for that. He just left the room, so hopefully he won't be causing any trouble there. He's very vocal. He talks a lot. I've never had a cat that talks as much as Watson talks, constantly through the day. Okay, we're getting some things kind of settled out. Cats are the best. They really are. Wow, the way the light is hitting the screen, I can see on the stream, it looks like day glow. It's not actually that bright. I think that's just the light. I think that's just the lighting. At least based on what I'm seeing in person. These are not as opaque as I'd like them to be. The Poscas can be fairly opaque if you get the right application. This just isn't at all. But I like that it has some other random colors that I don't have with the Posca markers. Okay, let me think. I think there is still some fussing to be done, but I'm definitely at the stage of fussing. Aw, cats like have a way of inserting themselves into things, don't they? Yeah, I've discovered that Watson really loves the videos for cats, and I didn't think that that was a for real thing, but sure enough, he loves it. I cannot find my yellow Posca marker right now. It's somewhere. Oh my gosh, if I need to keep him distracted, and I put one of those on, he's good for a while. And he's actually taken to like asking me to put them on the TV. He'll like, yeah, my cat asks to watch TV. Trying not to be like a bad cat parent and like use the TV as my babysitter, you know, all that stuff. But it's kind of adorable, and it's kind of a nice tool to have in your back pocket when like you got to have some work meetings and he just is gonna yell at you through the whole thing. Gotta have something in your back pocket. They're so strange. I love cats so much. You can hear me talking. He's out in the hallway making cute little purr sounds. I think he knows I'm talking about him. Okay, let me take another look here. Still a little iffy on this, leaving it as is. It was a very brazen choice to have this come into her face that much. And I like what it did for the composition. But it's definitely like the hardest, darkest line happening. And right now this is looking a little weird to me too. So the biggest intention is that the face and the cactus are going to be the center points of attention. Like everything else is noise and can distract from it, but ultimately this is the focal point. Oh, and I still need to add the last detail for the cactus is the prickly bits, the needles. So I guess I can start doing that too. Certainly looking much more irritating at this point. It was an unpleasant sensation to suggest. He's back and asking questions. Yes, I'm still here. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh, now I have a critic on my shoulders. Yeah. Everybody can see your butt. Hmm? How about that? You saying, no, you're really saying hi. Hi, cutie pie. You want to help? You want to draw some needles on here for me? You think you can handle that? Hmm? You're very cute. Okay, I guess we're just gonna be here like this for the moment. You literally got your butt on my head, you weirdo. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh. Good night, Mary Beth. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Watson says good night too. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I know. You're very bored when I'm working, aren't you? I'm working on things. How boring. There's no food or toys involved when this is happening. That's great. He is a very strange one. Love that cat though. Okay, he's out meowing in the living room now. You got bored enough. Okay, this is going along pretty well. Okay, we got needles. I want to do a little highlight on some of them. I have a white pen, but it often doesn't want to work for me, even though it still has plenty of white ink in there. It's never really worked well. Everything I've tried to buy like this has always failed me, so I guess we're gonna go with maybe a little gesso or white gesso paint. Tiny brush. Get my gesso. Scrape off enough of it and get it wet enough to get a little bit opaque. And I'm just going to add just the tiniest little blip on it. I'm not sure how obvious it is to the camera what I'm doing here. I guess it's a pretty small detail-ish kind of thing. I'm just adding a tiny, tiny bit of white along the edge of the needles, because they're usually not like black. And light catches, you know. Allow them to stand out a little bit against, well, the dark, but also not as much maybe too at the same time. Oh, now I can put my hand in my wet paint because I planned this very well. Got a lot of hand. Yeah. All right, going in a direction that my eyes do not like. Try it this way. There we go. There we go. Okay, got them all. Some of them need a spot more. What's the gesso? Not the gesso, this is the gouache. As the gouache dries, it tends to get a little transparent. So I want to have enough on there to show. All right. Well, the needles were certainly an important detail that needed to be added before this could even be close to being called done. There are still a couple things that I'd kind of like to think on before I would really fully be like, yes, that's it. But made a lot of good progress today. This is the finish line. This is like where I'm just going to get fussy about some things, trying to control where the eye goes, not have it be too heavy in areas, but not too expansive in others too. Like that's what has to be controlled. I think we're pretty much, I think I'm at a good point to call it a night anyway. I think that I've gotten done most of it. I kind of want to like sleep on it and look at it and think about it. If there's anything significant to be done, then I will bring it back on the stream, but otherwise I might just start something different, something new, the next one, try to come up with something fun to work on. And the next stream will be Monday evening at 7 p.m. Central. Hopefully you can join me, and I think I might do something very different. Yeah. I'm leaning towards trying something a little weird and a little different, at least weird for me. Everything's weird in context. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And awesome. Have a great night. Thanks for joining me. Take care, make stuff, stay sane. Bye.